was really nice from a slide standpoint, because you can take snippets or screenshots and use those for social media posts. So again, this is all intended to help you guys provide more value to your business and your clients, and ultimately grow your business. Whether it's a partnership with me or partnership with other lenders, that's up to you, but it's all designed to help you. So Donna, Derek, we recently met, closed a deal together. Donna, we've obviously worked together in the past, but don't know you too well. So I've been doing this since 2005, and my guiding principle has always been just treating my clients or others like I'd like to be treated. That started with a strong focus on education for my clients and my buyers. And now it's shifted over to helping the agent community. Work with a lot of agents, been doing this again 17 years, and I was trying to think of a way or a better way to add more value to our relationships, and putting these classes together has really been kind of a passion for me from an education standpoint. So again, this is interactive. I'm here to help you guys. At any point in time you want to jump in, throw a message in the chat, feel free. If we have a small group, we can still be very effective. All right, so what we're going to cover: where do listings come from? Number 2, top producers are going to reveal some of the things that are working for them. I'll give you guys some good examples. Number 3, how to find sellers most agents overlook. Number 4, 10 ways to get more listings now. And number 5, we'll do a quick summary, wrap up, and see what questions you guys have. So let's get started here. So if you're not generating business from people that your sphere of influence, you're really missing out. I mean, 66% of business comes from our sphere of influence. As we all know, we first get in the business, what I tell you to focus on, your sphere. It's a huge number. Number 2, 75% of millennials aged 30 to 39 are the group most likely to seek a referral from their network of family, friends, social sphere. Where do many of these people that are aged 30 to 39 spend most of their time? You guessed it, online, social media. Recent studies showed that 16% come from cold calling. And this website, The Close, asked agents where they gained new clients from in the past year. And here's what they said. It's 18% from print ads, 26% from buying leads, 33% from online ads, and 44%, biggest number, posting on social media. Let's look at that 44%. 44% of people said in 2021, they've got their business from posting on social media. I'm sure that number is probably close to like 70% now. 2022, I think we're all getting more, video friendly and social media friendly. So if you're not creating a way for sellers and buyers to connect and engage online, you guys, you're really missing out. Your online presence matters. Posting regular content and engaging so you can get referred is going to become paramount, if not already. In fact, social media has only second to referrals at 83%. So again, sphere of influence is still the most important. What do you couple that with? Posting on social media. So the first place to get more listings is your past clients, like I keep saying. Who here has listed a home from a past client or sphere of influence in this past year? Assuming everybody, right?
Yep.
Again, this is the best return on your effort and sphere of influence. But let's talk about a strategy here that you can use with that sphere of influence. So these are people that you have their information. So this is Jim Burgess, and he put together an $11 million CMA strategy. He's a realtor in Florida. And what he did was he went through his database and identified past clients and prospects from the last year who hadn't sold their home. He had all their contact information, addresses, phone numbers, emails, etc. He decided to do a CMA a day for 90 days for those people. Let's call it the 90-day CMA. So first thing he did, or first thing you need for a 90-day CMA, you need people. You need your past clients who own a home or other people you've spoken with who currently own a home. Number 2, you need access to the MLS. Obviously, you guys have that covered. Number 3, you need a screen recorder. So you got Zoom, BombBomb, Canva, all those will work. And last but not least, number 4, Google Earth. Google Earth is free, very easy to access. Let's just take a quick look at the video, and I'm going to play it real quick here and let me know if you guys can't hear it. It should be optimized, but I just want to make sure.
I want to show you basically the couple of things that I tied into.
Y'all hear that? Yep. You can hear it?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Perfect.
Used Google Earth on this. The reason I like Google Earth is if I'll start this, you'll kind of see it begins to rotate. There's this 2D portion here. You'll see when I click the 2D portion, it flattens out on top of it, makes it look super high tech. The other tab that I had pulled up was the tab for the sales and the comparable active pending solds for the condo that I was doing. This example was a past client of mine in Adagio. So this will give you an idea of Adagio condos. I'm going to just let this play so you can kind of see this, and I'll stop it to talk about it as we go through.
Hey, Karen, it's Jimmy Burgess with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services down at the beach. Just want to check in with you guys.
So notice how this is kind of moving and rotating right here. I'm just reaching out to them. This is the condos. You'll see how I show them the condos and then I push the flatten out button with the 2D. Just push this 2D button, now 3D button. So I'm showing them. It gives me the ability to really show them visually what we're looking at. They can also see me, which gives that connection there. And then I'm going to just fast forward a little bit to show you kind of what I go to next. The next thing that I go to is that I pull up the comparables. And now I'm just going to walk through. You don't have to remember the comparables. I'm just going to go through and talk about the sales prices, the averages of what things are, give a range of value. And then at the end, what I do, and I just kind of go through these, at the end, then what I do is I just simply say, I hope this is valuable to you. And I want to make sure that you know that I'm here if I can ever help in any way. If you guys are thinking about possibly selling, let me know and I'll be glad to get you a more distinct value just by doing a quick walkthrough of your place. I did 72 of these. These are folks that I had talked to, that I had built a relationship with. Also, this is my building pipeline going forward with people because I then put them on the calendar to do another one of these in 6 months.
All right, you guys get the point there. Very effective. Let's look at some of the numbers.
I want to show you basically the couple of things.
Next one. So here we go. Here are the results. Jimmy did 72 CMAs in 90 days. He listed 11.2 million in listings, 9.1 million sold. His total GCI, $227,500. Sound like pretty good money? So I know this seemed like a lot of work at first, but let's break down the ROI. If we take his GCI, we divide that by 72 CMAs, about 3K. Took Jimmy about 30 minutes to do the CMA, ECMA. So total about 36 total hours, divided by the GCI, hourly rate of $6,319 per hour. So pretty good ROI. Would you guys agree?
Absolutely.
Like this idea, something you'll implement? Glad you showed up. All right, Jim's jumping on. Hey, Jim, how you doing? You hear shit. So, of course, expireds and withdrawals have been a staple of listings for years. I know you're thinking, what's expiring in this current market? We're seeing agents having a success calling expireds and withdrawals for the last 3 to 6 months. As we all know, it was super hot. Call it in, June, May at the latest, and things are starting to kind of fall off the shelves or fall off the market, I should say, if they're not selling right now, if they're not that desirable. So a word about soliciting expireds, as you guys know, or I think you know, in a few rare cases, the property listing may have expired, but the seller is still under a contractual relationship with the realtor. It is a violation of NAR Code of Ethics to solicit listings that still have a contractual relationship with the listing agent. Make sure you ask whether or not the seller is still under contract with their first realtor. If that is the case, thank them for their time, wish them the best. See you later. It is a soliciting realtor's responsibility to verify that they aren't violating this rule. It's rare, but better to ask and just be safe and be certain. So here are a few tips for success with expireds. Number one, don't try to conquer a huge area. Pick 1 or 2 cities that get a good flow of expireds and stay consistent. Don't spread yourself thin because it gets daunting when you're spread across the whole country. Number two, call new expireds between 8 and 8:30 a.m. only. Why? Because by 8:30, everyone you talk to is angry and they've already talked to 20 realtors. After 8:30 a.m., call old expireds, which is expired 1 year ago or later. Number three, be authentic and kind in your approach. These people already experience not selling their home, and they don't need you to tell them you're the best or that your marketing plan is amazing. So here's a few tools that can be very helpful when prospecting. First one, Espresso Agent and Vulcan 7 and Red X. They all provide expired and FSBO leads. They also offer enhanced services, including CRM, lead management, auto dialer, email, video marketing, etc. There are some differences, and you'll want to check each of these to find the best fit for your needs. But at a base level, they all offer expired and FSBO leads. And by the way, I've got an HVAC guy at my house. That's the banging that's going on here. So just ignore it. We'll keep on rolling here. So here's an example of a Red X dashboard of expireds, FSBOs, and what they call geo leads, which we'll talk about here in a minute. The phone numbers have been scrubbed against relisted homes and the do not call list. So if you see a number, you're good to call them. And I'm sure your brokers have told you the attention on the do not call list and the violations for that have really ramped up with texting, phone calls, etc. So you got to be extra careful with this stuff and make sure you're getting good data that hasn't opted to not be contacted by you. You'll get in big trouble for that. So of course, another source of potential listings is FSBOs. You get access to FSBOs, contact information using platforms like Red X, Vulcan 7. FSBO sales have declined over the time, and FSBOs now account for about 8% of total home sales. Statistically, nearly 70% of FSBOs list their property with an agent after 4 weeks on the market as a FSBO. So FSBOs can be a great source of listings. The top 2 reasons for people selling FSBOs without an agent are, number 1, 41% don't want to pay a commission. Number 2, 56% of them, of all FSBOs, sold the property to a relative, friend, or neighbor. In other words, they don't really need you. So they feel less of a need for an agent because 56% of them already have a buyer. These are the most difficult tasks for FSBOs. 12% of them feel it's preparing the home for sale, 10% of them understanding the paperwork, and 9% of them getting the price right. So instead of calling with the same script every agent uses, why not offer a solution to their biggest challenges? So here's a couple scripts for you guys. Hi, this is Mike with Fairway. You may not know me, but I've sold quite a few homes in your area and noticed you're looking to sell, blah, blah, blah address. Is it still available? I'm not sure this is for you, but would you be open to some helpful tips on how to prep your home for sale and understand the paperwork process? And again, I'm going to give you guys these slides for those late joiners. I'm going to give you guys these slides after, so you can take this and script it out, et cetera, et cetera. It's all here for you guys to copy and use, et cetera. I'm in your area often. When would be a good time for me to swing by for a couple of minutes to preview your home? You guys like any of those? All right, we'll keep rolling. Another one is, hi, this is Mike with Fairway. I'm not sure. I'm not the first agent to call you, but how open-minded would you be to collaborating with any real estate agents to bring your buyers? I'm in your area often. When would be a good time for me to swing by for a couple of minutes to preview your home? Any questions on those? That all makes sense. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, so another way to drum up listings is with circle prospecting. Circle prospecting is one of the best ways to find seller leads. Circle prospecting is a lead generation strategy that relies on the premise that homeowners who live nearby your recently listed or sold home will want to talk to you about it and possibly be more likely to sell. I'm sure you guys have all heard of this, but let's just kind of recap here, and we'll a little bit of a different kind of direction that you might not have thought of before. So think of circle prospecting as building a mini farm area that has a direct interest in the transactions in their neighborhood. So you guys, anybody guys heard of Red X? No? So they have a service that they call GeoLeads, and what they'll do is they'll help you target neighborhoods as well as adjust listed and sold prospecting. I'm sure most of your brokerages have something similar, if not the exact same thing. But just to, again, we're going to look at a little bit different direction here. So imagine being able to drop a marker on a map and grow your sphere of influence within the neighborhood of activity you're targeting. So instead of focusing the lead search for you, say expireds, FSBOs, et cetera, GeoLeads lets you focus your lead farming in a particular geographic area that's actively selling. You can even filter your results by how long a property owner has owned their home, say at least 3 years or more. This is ideal for the just listed or just sold prospecting, as well as working to develop a geographic farm. And this feature lets you see who lives there, if they own, rent, and their contact information. It's kind of a little bit of humor here. You guys all know what this is. Maybe we forgot about it. Phone, right? So still, a phone is still a great way to connect with your past clients and leads. It's also a great way to enhance your circle prospecting results using a tool like Red X, getting a little more focused and intentional with your dialing. So here's a sample script if you're circle prospecting using a just listed, just sold approach. Hello, my name is Mike. I'm a local real estate agent. I'm calling about a property that I've listed in your neighborhood. I'm working hard to get that property sold for my clients. Are you aware of anyone who might be interested in moving into the area? Do you know of anyone looking to buy or sell in the next 30 days? Have you considered buying or selling this year? So again, these are all hooks to kind of get them and let their guard down, have a conversation, and kind of take it to the next step from there. A couple other ones here. Hello, my name is Mike. I'm a local real estate agent in Chicago. We're doing a homeowner survey. Do you have any plans of selling in the next 12 months? Yes. I'm curious, what's making you think about selling in the next 12 months? Again, getting them open up, you're taking a different direction. You're looking to help them as opposed to sell them. That's a big difference here. Me and Derek touched on that at the beginning of the call. You get to be more of an advisor, nowadays than a salesperson, if you will. How about Sly Broadcast? Anybody guys heard about Sly Broadcast, or Sly Dial is another name for it? So it's a ringless voicemail marketing software. You can call directly to voicemail and send thousands of ringless voicemail drop messages directly to your contacts in just minutes. Reach mobile phone numbers, landlines in the United States and Canada. So here we've got, what's her name? The Griffin Group, Christina Griffin. There are a lot of different strategies to circle prospects for listings. You can cold call, run targeted social media ads, do direct mail. So Christina Griffin, She's a top agent in Tampa Bay, Florida. Last year, her team closed 440 transactions. And with Slide Dial, she sent out more than 1,200 voicemail or 1,200 voicemail messages in a 2-mile radius related to a listing. She received more than 175 return calls in 1 hour. That's outrageous to handle that. She must have a large team. The script she used on the voicemail. This is Christina Griffin with the Griffin Group at Cole Baker. We just listed a home in your community. If you know anyone looking to move, give us a call. From those 200 calls, Christina and her team managed to get 2 listings and 4 buyer leads, 4 buyer deals, I'm sorry. Now, while slide broadcast can work great, it won't work great for everyone you reach. Some people might consider voicemails spammy or just won't respond when you call. In order to maximize your response rate, it helps to blend it in other marketing materials like postcards, text, phone calls, targeted social media, and door knocking, if that's still a thing. How many of you guys have heard of FRBOs? Anybody?
Hey, Mike, can we actually go back for a sec? Have you tried slide broadcasting yourself?
I've not, no.
Anything like it?
I mean, I know some other managers that use slide dial.
Okay.
Personally, I think the voicemail game, it really depends on your market and who you're slide dialing. If you're just trying to make a touch point and actually, maybe not have a conversation with someone, but just remind them that you're there, I think it's a great touch point. I think for us on the lending side, reaching out to a client that you've never met before with some sort of message, maybe you could call them, hey, your rates are low. It's time to refinance. Give me a shot if you want to run some numbers. Personally, I feel like there's a better engagement way from a lending standpoint, but for someone who's looking to pick up listings and or buyers, it's a great way to kind of drop that hook. And like Christina did here with 1,200 people, if you get a 5% response rate, that's still a ton of people. It's just a matter of how big your list is. So, but yeah, great question. Again, there's something for everybody here is kind of the thought process. At the end, I'm going to ask, what's the one thing that you took away from this? We're talking about, 10 or more things here, and you're not going to go run and do 10 things. You're going to do one at best. And as we all say, do one thing first, get it done, and then go from there. Right.
I mean, that is interesting. Like, I feel like I've been getting a lot more of these direct to voicemail calls. So like, I had no idea this software was a thing, but like now that makes a lot more sense to me.
Oh yeah. I get it from solicitors all the time. It's like my phone never rings. I get these 3 voicemails, and that's what they're doing.
The reason I asked about it was because I had a real estate agent that I recently partnered with ask me, hey, do you have something where you can send out a voicemail every day on market updates or rate updates? Because she said she was partnering with another lender, and every day she'll get a voicemail, and she loves it because she's like, I don't have to talk to him. She's like, I actually don't even really like him, but I like the updates.
I mean, people might like that better than an email, because I think we're all way over email. Personally, I am. And texting is kind of becoming the next saturated email, right? It's like, how do you give people what they want, but not, scratch that itch or annoy them? But yeah, I think, Jonathan, great point in that sense from a lender's perspective of giving the information that's needed, but not requiring that engagement that, most real estate agents don't want to talk to someone in the morning to know what the rates are. They just want to know what the rates are, right? But yeah, slide dial is like the Kleenex, if you will, to tissue kind of thing. It's the one that I've heard the most of. The slide broadcast is just a kind of a general term. Yeah, so FRBOs, again, kind of a very different approach or spin on what most people are doing, most agents are doing out there. So with RedX, the FRBO services that they find non-owner occupied and vacant properties, aka absentee owners. And like a personal assistant, it filters out leads managed by property management firms and highlights the numbers on the do not call list. So investors with vacant properties want to talk with you, or maybe they want to sell or buy another investment property. These leads generally haven't talked with a bunch of other agents by the time you talk with them, so they're more open to talking. Again, different approach here, but it can work for a lot of people. And you got to find your niche. If you're doing what everybody else is doing, a lot of times you're going to get, kind of swept in with the masses here. So here's a quick testament from Kevin Scoggin. I met an investor who needed to sell his 11 property portfolio. After a few in-person meetings, took the listing for 1.4 million, totally blew his mind. So he met the owner cold calling FRBOs. And again, you can get that through going back to RedX's FRBO. I guess it's not listed on here, sorry, but RedX is the service I mentioned earlier. They do a whole bunch of stuff with data and can really kind of empower you to get good information. All right, so checking in here, is anyone getting good ideas so far? You guys like what you're hearing?
Yeah, very good.
Awesome, yes. Great to hear. We got some good stuff coming on. My HomeBot's my favorite personally. We'll get there in a second if you guys haven't heard of it. We'll dive into that. But social media. So you guys ever gone fishing? You know what you need to catch good fish. You need good bait. So you need a good line in the water. With a poll, you know, you guys all have followers obviously on Instagram and Facebook. So putting a poll up like, are you planning or selling? It drives engagement. You get some interesting data, drives conversations. People will DM you if they want to, you know, more information. If you just put static content up there, or even just a video of yourself, that's a step in the right direction. But if they don't have a reason to engage with you, they'll often get to the next one. I don't know about you guys. I try and avoid scrolling on social media personally, but I find that if there's not something there to kind of like, you know, change my patterns or my habits, I just keep rolling personally. So again, thinking about polls and stuff like that, I see more and more people doing it, but just another idea. So you guys have seen home value ads before. This one has a few twists. Here again is another example of showcasing you as a local expert. Lots of people offer CMAs, but the Rossman team here changes it up in these 3 ways. They put the average home price increase as their headline. This makes it real for people. Number 2, the high quality aerial drone photo of pictures of the agents anchors them to the community. So that's obviously the community they're selling there. And you could do the same thing, you know, Derek, for your Southwest Chicago, et cetera, same kind of situation. People recognize that. And then 3, they have a call to action of getting a quote. So there's no confusion about what the next step is. See the Facebook message there. You guys can read that, that they received. My boyfriend and I are looking into selling our home. We're unsure what price to ask. That's not a lead. That's a call to say, hey, come list my home, come list me. They're already perceived as experts. This is not a run the ad once and you're done. It's frequency and breeds familiarity which builds trust. So don't just drop this in there once and expect to get a whole bunch of responses. You got to drop this in, you know, every week or every couple of weeks kind of thing to mix it up amongst your other content. And eventually someone will be like, oh yeah, I've seen that a couple of times. I'm sure you guys have heard the law of familiarity. You've got to see something 4 or 5 times before you trust it and want to kind of keep rolling with it. So keep that in mind with what you do. I think a lot of people get a little discouraged with, you know, the barrier of entry for social media, for video, et cetera. And they don't, you know, they do it once and they're like, oh, that didn't work. Well, you got to keep doing it. You're going to get better at it. I'm the proof's in the pudding here. I'm still, in my opinion, far from an expert, but I look back at what I started doing initially and it's, you know, pretty rough compared to what I'm putting together now, but I know I've got a lot of work to do. So again, keep kind of failing forward. It's the best way to do it. And you kind of have to do it. So keep rolling here. So it's called Facebook phishing. It's another line in the water. So you guys have heard agents that should be a, you know, local expert, right? People are telling you that they're you know, they expert in that area. They're just telling you that. They're not actually showing you. So we're going to talk about showing versus telling. So here's the Cole Realty doing a 1-minute market update on the Chattahoochee River Club, and see the house they're standing in front of. That is the house everyone sees as they drive into the neighborhood. So if you live in that neighborhood and you see that home, you stop scrolling. It shows, you know, that familiarity that I was talking about. And then as a smart way to show yourself as a local expert, you can retarget those who watch your video to grow your audience on Facebook. So they're just using this as a hook, but they're going to put other stuff about that neighborhood for Chattahoochee, for the River Club, to kind of tie it all together. It's not just going to be this one video that's going to make it all kind of work together. They might put their favorite coffee shop in Chattahoochee or whatever it might be, or the River Club, whatever goes on in Chattahoochee. They might be, you know, using that to kind of show that they're in the neighborhood, they're local experts, and they're showing them versus telling them. Any questions on that? No. So this one is a bit more of a focused on buyer activity, but how many of you guys have seen the Redfin migration report before? You can throw your answer in the chat if you don't want to speak up. Anybody heard of it? No? All right. So since COVID-19, many companies have adopted a permanent work remotely option for some employees, as we all know. So this means we're seeing a migration of people leaving certain states and moving to others. Now, I know most of you guys are in Chicago. People are coming and going to Chicago. There's still a strategy that you can use here. I just happen to use Austin, Texas, because it's so hot, and Jonathan's out of Texas, so I thought it'd be a little more applicable for him. But use this tool to run a report to see if there are large concentrations of people leaving a particular area and moving to your city or state. In this example, you can see there's a huge influx of people, 37%, leaving the Bay Area and Los Angeles, California to Austin, Texas. So how do you use this? You identify where the customers are moving from. You create helpful content. And guys, you know, specific to that region, put the content on YouTube using keywords, Instagram with hashtags, advertise it on Facebook in their local area. So for you Chicago folks, let's say you find an influx from, I don't know, Wisconsin, Michigan, whatever it might be, coming to Chicago, you can do geographical kind of focused searches or ads on social media for someone moving from that area to Chicago. Most people think about the opposite direction. That's how you kind of distinguish yourself there too. So and here's what we look like on Instagram. So you got 3 steps here.
One quick point on that. There was just a big article in the Times this morning that like for the last like 20 years, like when people move, it's generally they move 10 miles or less from where they are. And for the first year, it's like jumped to 50 miles. So I mean, I think that speaks again to people can work from anywhere now. So like it's just like this chart is like flat, 10 miles or less. And then this year was like 50 plus miles. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I see a lot of the agent teams that I work with. They have like a city to suburbs thing. That's the length of their reach that they're focusing on. And I don't see too many that are focusing on city to city across state lines. And to your point, Derek, there's a lot of that going on right now. How long will that last for? Tough to say, but I don't think it's slowing down anytime soon. And I don't think people are going back to the office anytime soon. I think it's, I hate to say it because everybody says it, but I think it's a new norm. So if you can figure that out and, maybe it's a niche in Chicagoland, for certain situations, but just again, something to think about. Or maybe Jim, I know you work in Indiana and Illinois. You could, reverse engineer that. People going from certain parts of Chicago to certain parts of Indiana and focusing on that, getting them in Chicago before they look to go to Indiana or, Michigan or whatever it might be. So just some ideas there for you. But in terms of the process or the steps that you would use, first one is research relevant hashtags like this example, moving to Austin. Hashtags are the equivalent of search on Instagram. So people use hashtags to search for relevant content. This helps your content get found. Number 2, create content relevant for people moving to Austin, in this example. Answer common questions, showcase cool things about Austin and neighborhoods. Again, that's kind of that all-encompassing. You're not just putting this one article up, you're showing them that you understand things about the area and the neighborhood. So they see you initially through the ad, but then they see the additional content about that specific neighborhood that you specialize in. And number 3, be the guide, help people, build engagement. People will choose you if you help them. That's kind of the overlying narrative with everything we're talking about here. So you got to help people, be an advisor. Don't be, an old school real estate professional that just is, opening doors because there's so much business. We got to differentiate ourselves and let the people that aren't doing this stuff, fall by the wayside and keep doing what you're doing. So, like I said, be the guide. So here's what it looked like on YouTube, kind of beating dead horse here, but just to go over the YouTube side of things, because people have a different approach they'd like to do. So instead of hashtags on YouTube, you have keywords. So you can research what keywords people are using on YouTube to find content. Once again, the process, create content relevant for people moving to Austin, answer common questions, showcase cool things about Austin and neighborhoods, and again, be the guide. So help people, build engagement, people will choose you. Email. So I know when done, email thinks everybody's it's the worst thing ever, like we just talked about. But when done effectively, there's another way to drive listings from your past client and lead database. The problem with most emails in real estate is they all look the same. I've heard somebody say recently, same as lame. That's the world we live in, right? You got to be different. They're templated and personal. They offer little value. The key to email is making it relevant and personal. Too many agents just set it and forget it, and that's what your email list does. They forget you. Agent Connie Carlson, hopefully you guys can read that email there, but she decided to talk about the elephant in the room. So think about it. A seller becomes a buyer before they list. So she's dealing with the number one concern potential sellers have. Will I find a home? She sent a bomb video on to her database. Subject line, do you need to buy, sell at the same time? So one of the main reasons homeowners aren't selling is because they're not confident they'll find a suitable home to buy with the limited inventory. I'm sure that's a lot of people right now, besides the fact they've got really low interest rates on their current home, that homeless concern is a real concern. And so they're going to go try and find something first. Problem is lining those dominoes up and getting that sense of comfort or confidence is tough to do. So Connie opened up her calendar for those that aren't in situations. She's saying, if this is you, let's talk about it. So you guys can see at the bottom, there's Calendly. You guys all use an auto scheduler or call scheduler software? No, the 2 that you can use are Schedule Once or Once Hub. It's kind of the AKA, or Calendly. All it is, it links up to your calendar. It takes, like we were talking about earlier, Derek, it takes a lot of the back and forth out of mundane, trivial tasks in business. So someone says, hey, I'm available Thursday at 2. Well, by the time you get to that email, it might be Wednesday at noon, and you emailed them on Tuesday, and now that time slot's booked. What this does allows you to kind of automate things, and it pulls down the barrier of entry and gives them a call to action. You got to have a hook, you got to have some good value, and then the last but not least, you got to have a call to action. Any questions on that? So here's an email you guys can send to your database. Hi, I'm reaching out because a lot of my clients and network are now making plans for the fall, and I want to stay updated on yours. I know plans can change quickly during these times. Which of these would you consider to be your current situation? So obviously you got those right there. You can read them. Let me know, because I can provide some useful information, and happy to meet in person or virtually in the next week. Again, giving them multiple options. You don't know what they're comfortable with, so you got to appeal to the masses and just kind of go from there. So again, the point of this email is twofold. It's not a boring templated newsletter with banana bread recipes and most people, tune out. It's an offer to help anyone who is in those categories of planning, thinking, or just curious. This email got 72% open rate, and that's pretty high. I would say anything over 40-50% is amazing. So any questions on that? Nope, keep rolling. Now for my favorite, HomeBot. How many of you guys are HomeBot users that have heard of HomeBot?
So I've heard of it, but I've also had clients call me to complain about it as well.
How are they getting it if they're complaining about it? Just curious.
So actually, I mean, one guy was actually a home that I sold out in Phoenix through a referral. He was from this area, and then whoever the agent I referred him to out there set him up on it. And then he got all upset because it's showing the sales price, and then that number, like that 429 or whatever, it doesn't take any of the closing costs, commissions, anything else like that. So, I mean, I guess it's not very clear. I've never used it, but he wasn't the only one that had complained to me. They just feel that it's like inflated, false numbers to try to get you to do something.
No, that's I agree with that. I've actually brought that up to HomeBot. I've been on there since August of 2018. So a little over 4 years now. Personally, I love it. You're automating, information, and whenever you do that, you take the human out of the equation. Eliminating yourself or myself. You're going to have a little bit of gray area, if you will. I asked them about the closing cost piece. I'm like, you're not taking into account real estate commissions. You're not taking into account closing costs, like from a city of Chicago, whatever it might be. Their stance was, we're showing someone the total gross equity that they have. They can go sell their home without a real estate agent and save on costs, and they could potentially get that the equity. I don't agree with it. I think they should shave something off of there, but it's designed to be a client engagement tool. But that is, Jim, to your point, that's the one piece of feedback that I've received both on the agent side as well as the consumer side. And HomeBot's kind of stance is like, this is how we're doing it. There's still a lot of value there. And then the other thing that to get ahead of it is some agents of mine, I was going to check before, I forgot to check. I think I have like 16 agents on there. Personally, I tell you this because I want to show you the value I feel it provides. And I'm not here to sell you HomeBot. It's more to, I just to kind of give context. And I'll give you an example of my activity and open rate, et cetera, in a couple of slides here. But is that the value that's being presented to your client with a monthly digest is a value that your client might think is you putting in there on a monthly basis, and that's what you think they can sell for. To me personally, I think that's a bit ridiculous. Anybody that thinks you're going in this platform monthly and sending them this to them with, if there's a personal touch there, but it's not saying, hey, so-and-so, here's the value I put together, I think it's a bit ridiculous. And I'll show you here in a second. Actually, let me just jump ahead here. But what HomeBot is HomeBot is a marketing tool that sends your database a monthly digest. So I personally send it to my whole database. And then in order to be on HomeBot as an agent, you have to be sponsored by a lender. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute here. But to me, it's the best way to stay in front of your database and give them relevant information that's specific to their home ownership situation, that's not static, and it's dynamic. What I mean by dynamic, they can go in there. Let's say it says 4-bedroom, 2-bath, and they have a 3-bedroom or a 5-bedroom. They can make the changes in HomeBot. I'm not sure if you can see there, but right underneath the 720, it says tune value. That's what one of those buttons is. And that allows them to make the adjustment. And HomeBot pulls the value in from Black Knight, which is one of the biggest data resources that a lot of hedge funds use. And they also just partner with CoreLogic. HomeBot's out of Denver, Colorado, so all their stuff is supposed to be done stateside, which I kind of like personally from a USA standpoint. But it's supposed to be one of the best sources for accurate values. Comparing it to Zestimate, which we all hate, or Redfin does a similar stuff. The way I think about it from a client-facing perspective is they're going to look for this information regardless. And if you don't give them the tools to allow them to get that and stay front and center and keep them in your ecosystem, they're going to go out to the internet and try and find it themselves. And we all know what the Zillows of the world are doing, right? They're selling your client's data to another agent, to another lender, trying to poach them. And a statistic I heard a long time ago, I should double check this because it's been literally 10 plus years at this point, but maybe it's worse now because of the access situation with so many agents and lenders online, et cetera. But only 25% of people use the same agent twice, which is a pretty daunting and scary, statistic to talk about. Let's just jump ahead here though. So the way it works is you're front and center. I just use a sample here. I didn't want to use my own HomeBot digest. I thought that'd be a little skewed or biased in my opinion, but you're front and center. It's all branded to you. It purposely has this like black and pink branding to it. So it's very general. Put your logo in there, and it's an engagement tool. So it's designed to have the person that's receiving it on a monthly basis click a button and reach out to you very quickly. It's going to show them things like their financials. It's going to show them things like their equity position, possibly refinancing, things like that. Here's an example of a CMA request. So I think that's the number one thing that people get from an agent standpoint is when they get their HomeBot, they're going to, on a monthly basis, they're going to look at their situation. And if they're curious about selling, to the comment I made earlier about the value, they're going to look at this, go, I want a CMA for my agent, click a button. It pings you via email. You can reply to the email. You can call them up, whatever you want to do to engage them and say, hey, we're just clicking some buttons here. You're serious about selling. You want me to come to your house and check it out? Should I just do a CMA for you? What are you looking for? It's a great warm prospecting tool to stay in front of your clients while also giving them the information they need when they want it. And they also have some pretty cool widgets too. So these are some widgets for on a website here, but you can integrate HomeBot into your CMA strategy, capture seller leads. You can also use it on like a Facebook post, what's your home worth? And when people put their information in here, they go in to HomeBot and now they are, part of your sphere essentially. You're marketing to them with you didn't really do anything but put a link out there with very little effort. So any questions so far on HomeBot before I go further? No? All right, so here's another example here of a digest. It's showing them, the value that we were talking about here, but you can use it to create instant offers for sellers, integrate personalized videos and more. It can also allow you to text and grab quick 15-minute time slots. So there's some kind of dynamic integrations, if you will, that you can customize it to. I don't personally have the 15-minute time slot. I probably should, but my clients tend to email and engage with me that way, and then I can follow up for them there. These are actual screenshots from my personal HomeBots. You see the top right there, that's my little headshot, just to show you that that's mine. My digests go out right around this time of the month, so every 30 days. So right now, the people that you're seeing engaged here, that 83% open rate, again, extremely high. HomeBot has a very low unsubscribe rate. Why? Because you're giving people information specific to their situation that they might not want today, but they're going to want at some point, and they know if they unsubscribe, they're going to lose access to that. So the reason I mentioned the 30-day thing is they send out 1/7 of your database every day for 7 days. Why? As you can see here, I've got, call it 700 people on here. They don't want to send 700 emails and have 50 of them request information from me and overwhelm me so that my customer service drops. They're going to space it out over 7 days. So what you're seeing here is in the next slide, can you guys all see that okay? The main thing I want you to see is the time. So 12 hours ago, 2 days ago, 2 days ago. You guys see that? Yeah, no?
Yep.
Okay, perfect, good. So those are actual clients of mine in my system. And that shows you that in the last, call it 5 days, and it keeps going farther down, obviously. I just want to give you some here to see it. There was what, 1, 2, 3, 4, was it 8 people, 9 people that were on their HomeBot looking at it. Again, I'm sending out as we speak. I'm on day 2 of 7. So in the next 5 days, they'll get a fresh digest to another, 500 or so people that'll go in here. But these people are all jumping in either based on the last digest sent 30 days ago or one sent in the last 2 days. For those that are trying to figure out easy ways to prospect, what's easier than going into your activity feed, looking who was on there and reaching out saying, hey, I'll use the first one, Joe Mitria. Hey, Joe, haven't talked to you in a couple of years since you bought your house. Great to see you're using HomeBot. I saw you're on there, viewing homes in the market and just kind of checking things out. Anything I can help with? How do you like the service? Just something like that. Not saying, hey, you're trying to, sell your house. You're trying to do something. Just say, how can I help? I just want to make sure that, HomeBot was working for you. This is not true, but you could spin it this way. HomeBot's super cheap for you guys. You could say, hey, I'm putting, my money behind HomeBot. It's costing me a decent coin every month. I want to make sure there's value there for you. Full disclosure, it's costing me about $200 out of the box. Every agent that I work with that's on there, it's a total cost of $50. They pay $25. I pay $25 for RESPA purposes. I have to pay HomeBot. I think my total bill each month about $750 with the amount of agents I have on there right now. So it just shows you I believe in the software and believe in the system. But whenever you tell someone, a client, that you have money behind it, they're going to listen to you a little bit more than this is a free service that I offer to everybody that my brokerage gives me. It's like, well, yeah, you put me in your system and just kind of set it and forget it, as opposed to third-party system software that I like to offer my clients. What's HomeBot's tagline? They help people build wealth through real estate. So any questions on HomeBot before I keep rolling here?
Mike, I just love that you shared this because I've been weighing the cost myself. I met with a real estate agent maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, and he asked me about HomeBot. I don't know where he heard it, but he said, "Hey, man, I've got 250 people in my database. Can you do HomeBot? I'd love to be able to reach out to them proactively." So this is extremely helpful.
Yeah. And I'm only giving you the tip of the iceberg. I know I went a little bit deeper on HomeBot than some of the other topics. This is one that I'm not a real estate agent, so I can't speak to a lot of stuff I'm presenting to you guys from day-to-day or daily practices. But HomeBot I've been using for a long time, and it's really the best tool to provide value to the lender and real estate relationship. But it's really to me, I'm only giving it a partial demo, if you will. They've got a buyer side, talk about ROI. One thing that they just rolled out that they told us at our meeting down in Dallas, I was talking to Grant, the rep, is both the lender and the real estate side. When you send it to your database every month, they now have the ability to search the MLS through HomeBot, even without you setting them up with a search. So again, it really gives people the tools that they're looking for to keep them kind of in your grasp and not have them going elsewhere to, again, the online world, the Zillows and the Redfins and all that kind of stuff, where some real estate agent who's got 2,000 Zillow reviews is going to steal them from you because they've been working on this for a long time. So something to look into. I've got some demos. We can talk about it in more detail. We're one-on-one. Happy to talk about it further, introduce you to the rep, but not trying to sell you on HomeBot here, just trying to add as much value as possible. So anything else on HomeBot? Keep rolling. All right, going from technology back to good old direct mail. So direct mail is not dead. Direct mail can be very effective if done consistently. It can work very well with circle prospecting if you're using multiple mediums like phone calls, door knocking, slide owls, target social media, for example. So here's agent Joanne Labuda. She's ranked among the top 1% of agents in the US. Her top lead strategy places a heavy emphasis on direct mail, email, social media, integrated with calling to her database. So I'm sure you guys have heard about Gary Keller's 33 touches. I'm hit or miss on that, depending on how the touches are. You don't want to obviously email someone 33 times a year. They would probably stop at like 7 and unsubscribe from you. But it's all about that kind of constant contact with the proper touches to stay top of mind. So here's a couple examples I just want to give you guys. So here's a good example of a postcard that educates homeowners on local market data. I'm guessing your guys' brokerage have something you can kind of put together with this. List Reports is a company that actually was just acquired by a company that I love, that's near and dear. I'm not sure if you heard this, Jonathan, but List Reports was purchased by MBS Highway. There should be some good stuff coming soon with the coupling of those two. Again, just give you some examples here. There are a couple more, but I took them out for the sake of your guys' time. So here's an example of a buyer letter. So who are the buyers you're working with who are qualified and ready to make an offer, et cetera, and want to live in a specific area? So this is called the magic buyer letter or email. You send this letter to neighborhoods you want to get listings. You could use this with circle prospecting also, or email it to your database. So you've got, dear homeowner, I'm currently helping my clients, Mike and Sue, look for a home specifically in the Chicago area. They are pre-qualified, it's hard for me to read, do not need to sell a home and are highly motivated. With the current low inventory of homes available, we are contacting homeowners in, Southwest Chicago who may be thinking about selling either now or in the near future. Should your home meet of our buyers' criteria, we can quickly bring you an offer. No need to fix up, prep, or stage your home. No need for the inconvenience or multiple property showings or groups of people walking through your home. We have buyers lined up. We are a full-service real estate firm, and this letter is a sincere attempt to find a home for my clients. If you're interested in selling, please contact me to set up a no-obligation appointment to determine if your home could be the right fit for client's name. So I actually got a couple of these in the last couple of months. So this strategy is not new. I'm not the one pushing out here. I've been truth be told, I didn't think of this myself, but it's a great option to stir up some phone calls, take a different approach. You might get a listing out of it. You might even find that that person is willing to sell their home and put your buyer in there, and now you're double dipping, which is a great situation. So, so you guys already know that open houses are a great way for real estate agents to meet new buyers. Derek mentioned before a couple of you guys jumped on that he's starting to see people actually come through open houses. So you guys have you thought about getting potential sellers from these buyers? Many will likely need to sell their house first before buying the next house. So when someone visits your open house, the first question to ask is, do you own a home in the neighborhood? That way you can identify a potential future seller. Using an open house app to check people in allows you to capture people's information. Perhaps the potential sellers are not quite ready to sell, but are testing the market. You could ask them if they have a home they need to sell, offer to keep them up to date on the market through HomeBot, for example, or your CRM, and build your database. Any questions there?
Just interesting. Usman and Katie were open house leads for me.
There you go. There you go. So Don and Jim, Jonathan, me and Derek closed our first deal together. Derek found these clients through an open house, as he just mentioned. They found me online, just to show you both not the most traditional ways of getting business, back in the day, if you will, which is like, 2 months ago. But now things are changing. You got to kind of spread your wings and go a bunch of different directions. And it does all come together slowly but surely. And I'm a big fan of, again, failing forward. Just get out there and start doing this stuff. So in summary, let's talk about what we talked about here. So past clients and sphere of influence, the 90-day CMA, expireds and FSBOs, client circle prospecting, not client prospecting, social media, the Redfin migration report, HomeBot, email, direct mail, and open houses. So I want to ask you guys, what's the one thing that you think from all of this you're going to incorporate today or tomorrow that you think is the biggest takeaway? You can put in the chat or speak up.
Honestly, breaking down the for sale by owner. I mean, I've never called them, but I know I need to starting here shortly, and making it simple as far as pointing out what they don't know. I mean, I don't want to throw it in their face, but if you provide solutions to things that they don't even know, I mean, that was the best one for me.
Good point. Good point. Like it. Love it. Donna, Derek?
So HomeBot's new for me. Like I love this idea of like really helpful information that hits like once a month or whatever, just sort of like, hey, you can do this, you can do that. Like I'd love to talk more about that.
Yeah, happy to. And I got some videos I can send you, and I can even do a screen share and show you my HomeBot. Again, I think I'm only scratching the surface. I've been on there for 4+ years now, and they've got a whole bunch of buyer features that they've rolled out. And the thing that I really like about it, the reason I didn't offer it to any of my referral-based agent referred clients up until basically this last week is because for the agents that I have that I'm partnered with on HomeBot, they didn't have the same MLS search that I had available to me for the last 12 months. And I don't want to step on toes with hey, why are you giving them this tool that could show that the MLS search that I set up with them maybe isn't as robust. Again, I'm not the one doing the MLS search or jumping in there, but now it's pretty flat in terms of you can offer that as well. It's a great tool, especially for those that are just, just looking or not sure what, kind of what to do with their search, or just kind of dipping their toes in the water. It gives them a timeline. It really kind of simplifies the process. And all it's doing is giving them more data on top of all the stuff that we do as professionals. And, that's kind of the world we're walking into, if we're not in already, where we've got to kind of, work side by side with the robots, if you will. What about you? It looks like Donna dropped off. She want to share. All good. Well, guys, it's been great. Appreciate you joining. Here's the QR code if you want to schedule a call and talk about that one thing. Derek, Jim, Jonathan, any questions at all?
My only question was that buyer letter. I've got other versions of that one, but there were certain things in that. I know you said you're going to do the slides, but I didn't know if you had that as a PDF or Microsoft Word. Yep.
Yeah, it'll be coming to you as PDF. All the slides, you can snip it, steal it, whatever you want to do. Share it with other agents. Again, this is all intended to help you guys. I truly have a passion for just educating and helping people. And these classes have really kind of resonated with me and kind of put my own spin on them. So anything else?
This was
That's
awesome.
been really
Thanks,
helpful.
Mike.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, guys. You have a good rest of the day. Look forward to talking soon. As always, let me know if you can help.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Take care.
Appreciate
Thanks.
You, bud.